and I'm going to carry on this series about essential oils. So I've spoken already about lavender, which is part of the TLC collective, and I'm going to talk about chamomile. Now, chamomile is a gentle comfort, and I usually recommend Roman chamomile because it's better for children and safer. Now, chamomile is like a warm cup of tea for the soul. Now, we know chamomile tea has a lot of relaxation properties, and it's very good to drink like a cup of chamomile tea an hour before to go to bed. It relaxes the system. So, what is with chamomile? It calms anxiety, it soothes digestion, and it eases inflammation. And in folk traditions, it was used for protection and peace. Now, protection and peace, it was known because it calms down the spirit. So they used to actually have chamomile flowers outside the door. And it used to also be when babies were born, they would have it for protection around the crib. And to what would we do? So if we recommend using it, we could do a drop in a carrier oil massage onto the temples of the mind. So if anybody gets headaches, it's really useful for that. Another thing as well, chamomile, again, like lavender, you can put it in a distiller and that helps you sleep. Now, historically, what is chamomile from? The word? Well, it's the Greek word called chamomelian, which is chami, which means on the ground, and melon, meaning apple. So we also know it nowadays as amphos, which is meaning flower from the Greek word. So it's amphemis, flower, noble. So it means noble flower. And we would recommend Roman chamomile. Actually, most people know it as blue chamomile, which is German, but it's a lot more astringent. So when you're looking at, obviously, you want more of a gentle oil, like with lavender, which is then you can use neat. I would recommend Roman chamomile. So the other things it has is it soothes skin with anti-inflammatory properties. These are ideal for treating allergic skin conditions, and these help relieve itchy, inflamed skin. Ideal for children when they go into stingy nettles or they get inflamed or they have a reaction. And with this, it's also very well known for repairing oil. It's a repair oil which promotes skin tissue regeneration. And also, it's very useful for children who are going into teenagehood of clearing blocked pores on the skin to prevent acne. So why is Roman chamomile never really regarded as such a high essential oil? It's kind of odd because actually in TCM, in traditional Chinese medicine, it's also known as a soother of qi energy. It's also very much well known as being used in the Roman Empire, and also mainly now chamomile is grown in the UK. Due to the conditions and so forth. So it's quite interesting that the Romans invaded England and how actually a lot of the things they gave us, when they say, what did the Romans give us? Well, they gave us lavender, they gave us Roman chamomile, and much more, and roads, which they don't repair now for the government. But anyway, it also works, Roman chamomile works as a mild pain reliever, similar to painkillers. So, example, if you actually put Roman chamomile in hot water and soothe that, if you have pain or anything, you can do that. And also with Roman chamomile, you can add neat to the pain, which is usually good on joints and so forth. Or you can do it into a compress because it cools the heat down. Now, the other thing what chamomile is really known for, and that's why they always recommend to do chamomile tea, is because it calms digestive issues. And this is known as indigestion, peptic ulcers. Hence, that's why the tea is always useful. It's known as a soother of the digestive system. And that's been known from Roman times in many ancient civilizations. Even in India, if you have chamomile, they recommend that to calm down the stomach if you've got a stomach ache or anything like that. The other thing as well, which chamomile is really useful, is also when you're going into the winter, it strengthens immunity and against viruses and infection. And so really chamomile has so many uses. And because it's part of the TLC, I'll explain what TLC is tea tree, lavender, and chamomile is part of tender, loving care, is useful for infants. So if you've got a baby, if you don't have any other essential oils you can have, having tea tree as an astringent, having lavender to help with the nervous system and to help babies with their sleep, and chamomile to help with any indigestion system and issues or skin issues, or anything also with their strengthening the immunity. And due to all this, it promotes calm sleep. So chamomile, I would recommend, along with tea tree, along with lavender, as your free essential oils you should have in your home. They can be useful for anything, and they're actually reasonably cheap. Now, I would recommend, because I've used this as a holistic therapist for the last 14 years, I use Roman Chamomile by Neal's Yard. Now, why do I use Neal's Yard? Well, I've actually been to the place where they create it, and I've actually been to the lab where they actually produce it, and the quality is exceptional. If you use Roman Chamomile, it lasts a long time if you get it from Neal's Yard. Now, other ones, it's very much over adulterated with alcohol, which doesn't work as well. So, again, just to reiterate, chamomile is the gentle comfort. Roman chamomile is better for children, and this is to help with anything like headaches, pain relief, digestive issues, and strengthens your immunity.